Hmm? You were singing?
No.
No.
I look like a boy.
Yeah.
I look so bad. It's fine. We're all fine. Everything's fine.
All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to what I think I've determined to be the final episode of Beards and Blush. That's right. We're coming to an end.
No.
I'm just kidding. No. So when we first started this, we said that we were going to just have like a pilot season to begin with to figure out what we're doing as far as recording the actual podcast and like videoing and stuff goes.
Mm-hmm.
And it's about that time.
Okay.
So I think I decided after this episode that we're going to step up the production quality from here on out, and actually I'm going to step up the production quality from here on out, and I'm actually going to do work on the videos and all of that stuff. So, season 1 will be in the books after tonight. Catch season 2 on DVD next year.
Pay the money.
Yeah.
Jackie,
Anyways,
no money.
Welcome to episode 8 of Beards and Blush. I am the Beard.
I am the blush.
Yeah, the Blush is back.
Hey.
As always, we're live streaming on Twitch and YouTube. Kendall is chugging wine from the bottle and eating nasty looking pizza.
Yeah, it's a couple minutes old.
Couple minutes old. We're live streaming on YouTube and Twitch at Beards and Blush. We're on iTunes and Spotify. Can you not smack your food in the microphone?
It's an ASMR.
Yeah. On iTunes and Spotify, search us at Beards and Blush. Find us on Twitter at Beards and Blush. That's how we communicate.
Yeah.
Are you already drunk? All right.
Mm-mm.
You're not in Ireland anymore, Kendall.
Drunken Irish.
Yeah. So, I didn't really decide where I was gonna start here.
Wow.
Yeah.
You hear that?
Yeah, you're putting your mouth right next to the microphone to chew on crunchy food. Yes, I heard it. Thanks to everybody tuning in for the live stream here. Everybody watching the video, everybody listening in. I guess we'll just we're gonna finish with you, so we're gonna start with me. My low point would have to be today, all day. Just the lowest I could possibly be at work today. So I took a couple of days off over the last week. Because I can. As well as, combining them with my weekend. So today was like the start of a long stint of work for me with no extra days off. I gave up 2 vacations to switch from second shift to first shift. And yesterday was going to be my last day to be sick for the next 3 or 4 months. So I took advantage of that, and I was very sick. But we still had a nice little date day, hung out all day.
It was a really good day.
Yeah. I just kind of jumped in line right there. That was my high point, was yesterday's date day that we hung out.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Aw.
But my low point was definitely today at work. We both woke up this morning, and it was just a hazy clusterfuck.
I was going to say that would be my low point, honestly.
Yeah.
My low point was this morning. It was my first day at my new job, and I was just stressed the fuck out because I wasn't early. Like, I wasn't running early. I was running on time, and it was just blowing my brains out.
Was leaving at 6:15 you running early?
Yes, because it takes me an hour to get to. Literally takes me like 59 minutes to get to work.
So she was freaking out all morning because she planned on leaving by 6:45 in the morning, or
No.
6:15 in the morning, and it was like 6:20 when I left, and she was still here like getting her coffee together.
Yeah.
But at least that wasn't 6:15 wasn't on time. 6:15 was early for you.
Yeah.
6:15 for me is like pushing the limits. So 6:20 I'm late.
Yeah. Were you late today?
Yes. I drove very, very fast
Did you make it?
to barely be a minute late.
That sucks.
So the worst thing about my job is every job I've ever been to has like a grace period to show up. And my job, not only do I not have a grace period, but I have to be there 15 minutes early for roll call. And if I'm even 1 minute late to roll call, I mean, it's usually forgiven. It's just a matter of who's taking roll call, which major has the shift that day, who's the shift commander, and whether or not they like you. And if they don't, you're fucked and you're getting written up. And if you could be just 1 minute late to roll call, but if you're 1 minute late to roll call and you get written up for it 12 times, you're out. You gone. That's insane.
So, did you get written up?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I'm not going to know on the spot. I'll find out.
That's annoying.
In a few weeks, whenever they have the paperwork written up, if they write paperwork. The major today doesn't give a shit about much. But
I would want to know.
Yeah. So my high point then would be yesterday. What did we do yesterday?
We
had breakfast.
Had breakfast.
To start off.
Love breakfast. I love going out for breakfast. I love going out for breakfast more than I love going out to dinner, honestly.
Yeah. And we had a little chat on the way to breakfast about how breakfast was the most important meal of the day.
Yeah,
and Kendall's mind was blown.
Blew my mind. Please go off on it.
Go off on what?
Go off in your tangent because I want to hear it again because I literally thought about it until like 1 o'clock today.
There wasn't really a tangent. It's just breakfast is supposed to be your biggest meal of the day. It's your most important meal of the day. Breakfast is what supplies your energy for the day. Bonkers. So Kendall wakes up just like most people do, and you drink coffee, and that's not a good thing to do. You want to wake up and drink a cup of water, 8 ounces of water, and that jumpstarts your body, jumpstarts your metabolism for the day. And then you eat your breakfast, and you have your coffee.
8 ounces of water is a lot of fucking water.
Well, it's like not even half a bottle. You could chug that.
No way.
Those bottles? Yeah. Those are like 16 to 18 or 16 to 20 ounces.
No, they're not.
Yes, they are, Kendall.
Let me check.
I'm looking around for a bottle of water. Usually they're all over the fucking apartment.
Wine.
That's a big ass bottle of wine.
Yeah, I want to see how many ounces it is.
It's probably like 28, 32, something like that. Those probably don't.
It doesn't say.
What's it, a liter?
It has to be a liter.
I don't know. Anyways, it doesn't matter. Yeah, she was blown away that breakfast is more important than the rest of the day.
But, okay, so this is my thing. Like, when I actually eat breakfast, so my normal day is I'll start work at like 8 o'clock in the morning. So I have to leave the house by 7, which means I have to be up by 6. So if I actually eat breakfast, I am starving by 10, 11 o'clock. Starving. And then I eat more, and then I eat more throughout the day. And it's ass backwards.
It's not, though.
But I'm ass backwards. That's literally the comment that you made soon as I said that.
Yeah.
Why did we even get on that tangent? Because we said something about me being ass backwards, but it wasn't the rampage that I just went off of. I said,
I don't remember.
I went off about how in Ireland I like actually ate 3 meals a day, and I don't ever do that. I don't eat 3 meals a day. I snack a little bit throughout the day. Like, I'll eat a little something, and then I'll eat, like, a big dinner.
Right. And that's when I said your ass backwards because you're supposed to have a good-sized breakfast and then shorten your meals throughout the day?
No.
Yeah.
It's so
Well,
weird.
your biggest problem is all the coffee you drink in the morning curbs your appetite. And then you don't eat until you've stopped consuming caffeine at night, and then you're starving.
I'm getting better about drinking less coffee. That was something that I went off when I started doing for myself was a couple weeks ago, as I started drinking less and less coffee, and it was rough the first week. I was crabby. I was having lots of like migraines and just tons of crashes and stuff, and there was days where I just didn't drink coffee at all, or caffeine really at all. And it felt good. Like, I felt like my skin was a lot better, but my body was just
Struggling?
Struggle bus. Just crashing that struggle bus.
Struggle.
So, and then I went to Ireland and drank a little bit more coffee than I had been in the last week. So now I'm kind of like
back on it.
You're
back on the fiend.
Yeah. This morning I had 16 ounces of coffee. So.
Whoa. See how easy it was to drink 16 ounces of coffee?
It took me 2 hours to drink it.
Whatever. Dude, you wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning and chug an entire bottle of water.
I do.
That's all you have to do.
I like breathe it.
Yeah, so she has this thing with her bottles of water. When she's super thirsty, she does not drink the water. She puts her mouth over the bottle and just squeezes all the water out of it. And I just find these crumpled up bottles of water all over the apartment. She just, and the water's gone.
It sounds so funny. I don't know what it is. I have to crush water when it goes. I have to crush the water bottle when I suck it in. Sounds so weird. I don't know why.
It is weird.
It's super weird.
Get the ball. See you.
My dog's actually driving me nuts right now.
Your dog is finally happy. So we'll get back to your low point and your high point.
Yeah.
I'm going to talk about the dog. So I had the dog for an entire week. I mentioned that last stream. By the way, last stream was a solo stream. No fucking views.
Honestly, you guys, I'm going to get off your rampage about the dog real quick and talk about the stream. It was awesome. Oh, you guys need to go watch it because I was left speechless. I was left like fucking rolling because it was funny.
I listened to it this morning on the way home, or on the way to and on the way home from work. Yeah, I split the time.
So good.
And I made myself laugh a little bit.
It's really good. And I don't think Matt realized how funny he was. But when we were, and I'll get on this little tangent, but we were in Ireland, we all like listened to it after we went bar hopping. And you can see me just kind of peeking into the stream a little bit. But I like couldn't stop talking about you. I couldn't stop bragging about you. You're just awesome.
Well, thanks.
You're welcome. Going off about the dog.
Yeah. Check out episode 7. Episode. Check
7.
out episode 7, please. It's my first solo podcast, and it was really good. I had a lot to talk about.
It was really good.
A lot of stuff. Like I said, I had been planning that episode for weeks. And then it just so happened that, like, the meat of the episode was that story about when I dropped you off at the airport. So all of the planning that I had was, like, second to what happened at the last minute before I recorded it. Don't punch my microphone.
I was like, I'm having a really bad hair day, so I put on a hat. Now I look like a boy.
Yeah. It's not that bad.
I look like a boy.
It's all right. So I had the dog for a week. And like I said last stream, our progress together was hindered because I had other people here. I had my mom here for another day or two before she finally went back home. And then my buddy was here for the episode before the last one, and he brought his fiance, and she kind of kept the dog entertained. But then for the last 4 or 5 days, it was all me. She didn't see another person. And it amazed me how quickly it went for us. Like, it was, let's see, we picked you up on Wednesday. Tuesday night, or Tuesday during the day, was a really good day for us. And then Wednesday, it was like a switch had flipped. Like, Wednesday, we woke up and she was my dog. Like, all the normal things that she did with Kendall, she started doing with me. She started eating with me, taking treats from me, things that she never did before. I can hold her now and she wouldn't shake. And it was a good time.
I don't think you guys realize how much of an improvement that is.
That's a very big improvement.
It's a very big improvement.
Well, like, when I talk about the things that you think would be normal, like, these are things that never happened with us. She wouldn't eat when I was in the room. I'd have to lock her up in a separate room with her food and give her time to eat.
Yeah, and then you would have to be like quiet so she knew you weren't around.
If I was up walking around, she would walk away and go sit in a corner.
Yeah.
She refuses to take food directly from me. She refused to take treats or anything like that. She would very often just sit there and tremble just at the sight of me.
It's crazy because, like, it's hard to picture when you just say it.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, I can picture it because I see it, but if someone else were to be talking about it, it's just crazy because the way that I've never seen a dog react the way that she reacts around you, and she has no reason to act like that in the past. I mean, she has a reason, but
Right.
it's just it was really hard. And, like, I worked at a dog kennel where, you know, where owners literally drop their dogs off and taken into a new place, and sometimes it'd be really scary for them, and all you had to do was comfort them. But, like, Matt couldn't. He was so comforting towards this dog and so loving towards this dog, and she still was just petrified.
Like, I would pick her up, or I would hold her, or I would pet her, and, like, even when Kendall was around, she would do everything she possibly could to stay behind Kendall, to keep Kendall between the dog and I. And just, like, when I would look at her ears would go back immediately. She would lower her head. Her eyes would get super big. Her back legs would start shaking. That was all day, every day.
Like, you know, when, like, some of you dog owners would know when your dog is guilty, like, and you confront that dog about something, like, that dog kind of trembles and, like, feels bad because, like, they knew they did something wrong. And Tula acted like that all the time around Matt.
Yeah.
Like, she was just constantly guilty, even when she did nothing wrong. She just, like, it's really hard to explain.
Mm-hmm. But Kendall left for a week, and I told her when I picked her up, I was like, just like 1 or 2 more days, and me and this dog will be perfect.
Yeah.
And it just so happened that it was just enough time, because, like, we woke up that morning and everything was good, and I was like, I just want 1 more day with this dog, and everything's gonna be perfectly fine. But turns out she was very open, even when you came back. I was hoping we wouldn't go pick you up and she would just shut me down again.
Yeah.
Luckily, everything's been perfectly fine. And actually, yesterday, you started yelling at her and she ran to me.
I don't even know what I was yelling at her for.
Well, because we left for the afternoon. We took her out and left for the afternoon and came back in a few hours, and she shit on the carpet in there.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. Took her out. She went, brought her back, left her for a couple hours, came back, and she shit again.
I forgot she pooped on the carpet.
Yeah. Fucking piece of shit, dog.
Anyways, so my low point was this morning.
Yeah.
My high point.
Hold on, I haven't even mentioned the book yet.
Oh, wait.
I just don't want you to get into talking about your huge ordeal in Ireland, this vacation you took.
Can I talk about a couple high points then?
Well, thought that you were gonna.
Let me talk about it. Let
Okay.
Let me just do it. Okay, so another high point. One of my high points was going to the mall with Matt yesterday. We ended up in Walmart, and we ended up looking at laptops. And I don't have a computer or a laptop, and I was like, we should go to Best Buy.
Yeah.
And we went to Best Buy, and I found my dream laptop.
My dream laptop.
And Matt approves. The animals are going crazy right now.
The animals are playing hard.
Anyway, so I found my dream laptop, and Matt gave me all the cool little insights about it, and I'm about it, and I'm going to start saving for it. It's going to take me 10 years. It's fine. We're all fine. And then we were leaving Best Buy, and he was like, do you want to go get Panda? And I was like, no.
No, but we're going to get Panda because when I say I want Panda, goddammit, I get Panda.
Every time. Every time. And then like I was like, oh, he said, do you want to take home Panda? And I said, no, because I'm going to eat it. I'm hungry.
And what'd you do? You brought it home.
I ate not even half
Not
of
even
it.
half of it. You ate a few bites of it. I ate
a
my entire plate and I felt like shit.
Oh, you felt bad. And then we stopped at this little store where previously at this little store I gotten like a cute little skirt, and I was like, I want to see their clothes. And it's, how did you describe this store? Well, right next to Panda Express.
I don't remember what it was called. It was called Hot something.
No, it wasn't.
Yes, it was.
Was it
wasn't
really?
Hot Topic, but it was Hot something. And I walked in there and I was like, this is literally just a less edgy Hot Topic. Everything is white except the content in the store is the exact same shit you'd find in Hot Topic.
I don't think it's the exact same shit that you'd find in Hot Topic. I think you described it perfectly as like less edgy.
Yeah, it was like a lot of like the clothes, the t-shirts, and
it's more wearable stuff for me than Hot Topic.
But then you have like the some of the hippie shit.
Yeah,
that made it less edgy.
I'm into the hippie shit. I think that's what draws my eye towards that whole store is like the hippie stuff. But we were walking around the store and I was looking at the clothes, and then I went back to the clearance rack because I'm a cheap ass. So that's the one thing I do anytime I walk into a store is I gravitate towards the back and look at the clearance rack before I go anywhere else. And then I started to make my way up, and then we found some sage, and I made a comment about sage.
She just said the word sage. I didn't even I wasn't listening to her at this point.
He tuned me out, and I said I need some sage because my ass is haunted.
And you just like over in the corner, one of the chicks that worked there was just like, sage? Sage? And she just beelined right for us, and she's like, I'm just gonna tell you about the sage.
Oh my god. And I was just like, cool. Like, and then she was like, this has like a bowl in it, and you should definitely use the bowl to like make sure. I don't even know. And then she was like, it has sage and something else mixed in there, and then you have to like smell this something else, and this something else smells real good. And cedar.
She opened up the package to take out the cedar to let us both smell it.
And then you couldn't smell it because the sage was just so overpowering. And she was like, huh, that sucks. And I was like, and then like I acted like I could smell it. Yeah, I was like, oh, I smell it. Like, that's good. Because it was just such an awkward moment for me. Like, I don't know. Anyway, so as we were like kind of like awkwardly walking away from this chick, we found ourselves to another end cap that had a couple books on it. And like right in the center of this end cap was like, Matt was kind of just like off in his own little world, like tuning me out like he always does. And I was like, you need this book. Grab the book.
So I mentioned that I bought a book on Amazon, and then we went yesterday and bought another book. And we're going to use this book frequently. So this is called the Official Dictionary of Sarcasm. It's a lexicon for those of us who are better and smarter than the rest. So inside this book, it has, I was kind of hoping that they would say how many definitions they actually had in here.
Yeah.
They have a ton. It's a full-on dictionary with just extremely sarcastic definitions of things. And some of them are okay. Some of them not that funny. Some of them fucking hilarious.
Yeah. I think it's good.
Yeah. So, we'll be using that today.
We'll be using it periodically throughout the whole podcast. And hopefully there's more volumes in the future.
Yeah. That'd be cool.
That'd be really cool. Did you read the back of it?
No, I didn't.
If you read the very last page, the author has like, he goes on a tangent about other books that he's written, and like even the titles sound cool. So there's
the other
that.
books that he wrote?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
There's like an actual author if you want to like give him a shout out.
There's an actual author?
Give him
Somebody wrote the book?
Give him a shout out.
I don't know who. Give him a shout out.
Yeah, doesn't it say his name on it?
Yeah, probably somewhere. James Napoli?
Yeah.
Executive Vice President of the National Sarcasm Society.
Hell yeah.
Don't know if that's a real thing.
It's not a real thing.
It must be.
Must be. It's the title. So yeah,
But,
that was one of my high points. My other high point is that I was in another country, which was pretty cool. Should I just go off?
I mean, I guess.
I mean, I might as well.
Yeah. How'd you get there?
Plane.
Kind of plane.
A big one.
Where's it go?
It went straight to Ireland.
Oh my god, it's an airplane.
Oh! I hate myself. I hate myself. Go on. Go on.
All right, so we have airplane and airport to fit the theme of her traveling here, and I'm going to read the sarcastic definition of airplane and airport. Airplane. A giant passenger vehicle whose entire operation will fail unless your seat backs and tray tables are in the upright and locked position.
And I'll go off on my tangent about that fucking later.
She has a story about her uncomfortable ride home because your ride too was very comfortable, wasn't it?
Oh God. Okay. So let me go off about my tangent on the way there. So Matt drops me off in the airport, and I'm like living my moment, you know? I'm like, hell yeah, I'm about to do some cool shit. And then I like walk into the airport. I got my bags and rolling my suitcase, and I walk in and I see my friends, and I was like, oh, I was supposed to be taking this flight by myself. So I was like, there goes my independent moment. And then John's like, hey, buddy. And so I stopped, and I literally, it was like as soon as I walked through like my open doors, it was like, vroom, vroom, friends. Like that was it. And
it's like right after I dropped you off.
Right
you
after you
inside and saw him.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was so weird. Like there's so many people at that freaking airport.
I can't believe you didn't tell me that.
Well, we didn't talk.
I asked if everything went okay. You couldn't have just sprinkled that in there.
I couldn't. It was a long story.
Whatever. So the part that I was talking about was before we even took you to the airport, where you panicked and thought you had to reserve your seat 24 hours before, and she ended up buying like a reserved
I was
seat
gonna get on
for like
that.
$100, were you?
Yeah. So when you go, when you are 24 hours before your flight, you're supposed to check in to your flight. Or you can check in at the airport. It's better to do it online. That way you can determine which seat you want. And my dumbass knows this, okay? And so I do it like 8 hours before the flight. No, it was that morning.
Was it?
Yeah, I did it that morning. And so I go to like reserve my seat, and I was like looking around, and I was just like, I just don't know where I want to sit. And then there's the front has like these green little squares on each seat, and it says like 124. And I was like, what the? And then I was looking at the middle, and there was a bunch of like gray seats, and there was gray seats with like X's like crossed out, like those ones were already taken.
Mm-hmm.
Then there was blue seats kind of like sporadically throughout those. And then towards the back there was like $100 seats. And I was like, okay, I have to pay for a seat. And it was so early. It was like right when
It was so early.
It was so early. It was like right when I woke up, and I was like, okay, I mean, the $100 seat's is what I'm gonna have to go with. So I'll just go with it. So I did it, and I did it fast. And Matt was kind of like waking up. He was like laying in bed, and I like went off a tangent about it, and I was like, I spent $500 on this flight, and then I had to spend another $100 on my seat. And like, he kind of like opened up an eye, and he was like, wait, what? He's like, I've never flown on an airplane, and I know that doesn't sound right. And I was like, I don't think I've ever had to do that in the past. I don't think I've ever had to pay for a flight. Like, I've had to obviously pay for a flight, but I was like, I don't ever remember paying for a seat. And that's because I didn't have to pay for a seat. I accidentally paid $100 for a seat.
Yep.
So, again, my dumbass fucking Snapchats it like, heck yes, $100. I said, heck yes, I'm going to take the seat I'm going to take a window seat right next to the bathrooms. And then John texted me, and he was like, why the fuck are you paying for a seat? And I was like, see, I thought that was weird too. Why did I have to pay for a seat? I was like, that was my only option. And then I thought about it, and I was like, there was blue seats that didn't have numbers in there as well. And I didn't have to pay for the blue seats. I paid for the green seat. And I'm dumb. So,
very sad story.
That was the...
But
wait, it gets better.
You said you got what? There were 2 seats in your row, and the seat next to you was unoccupied?
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, so on the flight I had it was me and a seat, and then there was like a little space in the bathroom, and I didn't have anybody next to me because of course I was probably the only person on that flight that was actually flying alone to Ireland. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Are you going to give me a definition?
I'm going to do airport real quick.
Oh, yes.
That way I can stop holding this book. Yeah, careful there.
Do airport.
You lush.
Look at Tula.
This is a long one. Where's Tula?
Right there on the couch.
I can't see, the TV's in the way. Oh. Nice, right on our clean towels.
Mm-hmm.
That's nice. An airport is a mall placed near a large parking lot in which planes often land but rarely take off. To take your mind off the endless delays, these cavernous dungeons are populated by clueless security and ticket agents, zombie-like skycaps, and thousands of needlessly detained travelers enduring either the frustration of lost luggage or an impromptu body cavity search. If Dante were alive today, airports would be listed as the 5th ring of hell.
So which takes me to, so I checked in all of my luggage and everything, and I went through security, obviously, after all my friends, because when I walked in, they were already in line for security. So I got in a couple minutes later than them, and I honestly didn't expect to see them, because I had 4 friends, so there was 5 of us all together. So it was me, my friend John, a couple named Brandon and Lexi, and then another friend, Connor. I've only met Connor, I've met Connor, but I've only, seen him here and there, out at the bars and stuff. So I honestly, Connor, if you're watching, I didn't really know him.
I doubt he's watching then.
We talked about this a lot, okay. So there's a chance that he.
Hey, Connor.
So Connor's flight left first, so they all rode together, and they dropped Connor off at his terminal, and he just took off. And then I was already like super early to my flight. I just planned on hanging out, just because that's the type of person that I am. I like to be early, not on time. And when I was going through security, I was walking towards my my gate, and I seen them. They were at the bar.
Yeah.
They were at the bar, so they stopped me, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna go to my gate now. And I walked to my gate, and then I still had to wait there for another probably hour, 45 minutes to an hour to board my flight. And they ended up calling me 15 minutes later saying that their flight got delayed. And then their flight kept getting delayed and delayed.
Rough.
Yeah. So I took off before them. They were supposed to take off before me. And I got to Ireland, and I was the only one there. And that's cool. So that was my tangent about that. So Connor came like an hour later, and then we sat at the Dublin airport for like 4 hours waiting for them, which sucked because like I barely know this kid.
You didn't just go do something?
I mean, we were
Go look
going
around?
to, so that's what like everyone else had said, like go do
Right.
something, because like they were in London, so they could still kind of like text us a little bit. So they were in London, but the thing is we couldn't get the rental car because it was under John's name. We couldn't go to the hostel because the hostel wasn't taking check-ins until 3:00, and it was like, I think it was like 11:00, maybe even sooner.
Mm-hmm.
And we couldn't really go around the city because we had all of our luggage, and like I didn't want to lug that around the whole city, you know what I mean?
Lug it.
So we just sat there, and through like iMessage, so through the iPhone you can like play games through iMessage, and we did that.
Wow.
And I okay, so
You could have watched a whole podcast episode with them.
I know. I could have watched the whole freaking series.
Oh,
with
yeah,
them.
yeah. You said
It was
you were there for,
literally like
5 hours.
4 or 5 hours. And so I was just really tired, and that was that. So when
thing.
it was pretty bad.
How long was the flight?
I thought it was going to be 13 hours. It ended up only being like 8 or 9. What really messed me up was the time change. So my thing actually, when I was checking in my flight and like everything, it all said that it was going to be 13 hours, but like it didn't adjust like the time change, so it only ended up being like 8 or 9 hours.
Right. The flight was actually 8 hours, but in time you took like 14 hours to get there.
Yeah.
Right.
It sucked.
That's why, like, when you text me that you landed, I was like, huh, that's like 5 hours earlier than you said.
Yeah. I know, and because you were kind of still up, but
Yeah.
you weren't up for long.
I don't remember when that was.
So John, Lexi, and Brandon get there, and we go get the rental car, and that was a challenge by itself, because I don't know if y'all know, but in Ireland, not only do you have to drive on the opposite side of the road, you also have to drive on the opposite side of the car. And like, as the driver, I'm sure, like, John was driving, so I'm sure, I know that fucked him up a little bit, but as the passenger, and I am not a good like
Passenger.
You're
not a good person.
it was a struggle. I was like constantly on edge. I was constantly like slamming my imaginary brakes for him. Like,
Can I talk for just a moment
Yeah.
about how when you came back and I picked you up from the airport,
I know.
you
Were
on a whole nother level than you've ever been with my driving.
I know.
Like, I can't even remember the things that you said, but you were just like, I eventually just started tuning you out.
I'm happy you did, because I was
Because
annoying.
You were just making just small little comments about, like, You need to do this now. You need to do this.
I know.
Good. Do. And I'm just like,
I'm so annoying.
Okay, I understand. I am turning my turning signal on right now.
And
I'm
I would
getting
tell
into
you
the
to
other
do
lane.
that. It'd be like, turn on your turn signal and then get in get in the left lane. Like, stupid.
Yeah.
Anyway,
So-
I apologize. I'm
It's
really
okay.
sorry. It was just
Yep.
a rough trip and I just wanted to get home. But more than that, I really wanted Five Guys. So
Yeah, she loves Five Guys.
stupid.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
So we took a detour from coming home from the airport to stop and pick up Five Guys. We were gonna go somewhere else and actually like sit down and eat, but I surprised her with the dog. I brought the dog to the airport to pick her up.
I don't want to get too much into that because I want to get into that later.
Okay.
Okay. So, driving on the opposite side of the road, driving on the opposite side of the car. Fucked me up as a passenger.
Mm-hmm.
And then another thing, in Ireland, there is no four ways. Do you know what they have instead of four ways?
No.
Roundabouts.
Mm.
Super cool.
I think that's a European thing.
That's super cool.
Yeah.
Get it together, America. Get it together, because then we all could be moving.
I think we probably have more traffic than they do
I don't fucking care.
in our cities.
I don't fucking care. Dublin was busy as fuck.
Was it?
Yeah. Anyway, so going into day/night 1, I got semi-drunk.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was cool. But that was the only time I got semi-drunk. We bar hopped, and then I drank a lot of Guinness. And I don't know if y'all know this about me, but I like beer, and I like dark beer. I like beer that tastes like coffee and malty and chocolatey. That's the kind of beer that I like. So that was cool. It was a good time. And I don't know what it is. I kind of felt embarrassed and ashamed the next day. I was like, ooh, I don't like doing that. Every time I get semi-drunk or even tipsy, I'm like, ooh, that's kind of embarrassing. I don't know, something about me. Anyway, so are you getting a beer? It's right there in front of the TV. Behind the TV. Yes, it is. I put it there.
It's not here.
Oh, check into the drawer. Okay. So that was cool. I really don't remember a lot from that night, except for Dublin is expensive. It's an expensive city in Ireland. And it shouldn't be. Mixed drinks were $11. And beers were $4 to $5. Or, excuse me, euros. That was another thing to get used to. We all had euros, not dollars. So, and I stayed in my first hostel, which was awesome. Good experience. Day 2, we got out of Dublin and started towards Kilkenny.
You bastards.
Why?
Nothing.
Okay.
I'm not going to explain that one to you.
Why? Explain it to me.
No, go on.
Okay. So, when we started towards Kilkenny, we were looking for there was supposed to be there's a couple cool things in Kilkenny that we didn't see, unfortunately, but we were we're going to find the Carlow Castle. It's supposed to be this really cool castle in Kilkenny.
You
So,
bastards.
I don't understand what's going on.
It's from South Park. Oh my god, you killed Kenny, you bastards.
Oh.
Go
Oh.
on.
Anyway, so I don't know what it was. Something just kind of like more like 7-year-old in Dublin. Anyway, so we're driving around, and I don't know what it was. I was kind of like out of it. I was off my own little world, like just kind of like looking out the window, and I was in the back seat, and I had given them my phone as navigation to get to the Carlo Castle, and I was looking out the window, and John, they were all just kind of like talking and chatting, and I see us past the Carlo Castle, and I was like, okay. I don't know what it was. I wasn't paying attention to their conversation at all. And then they went to like kind of like an off thing, and it kind of seemed like we were parking to like walk to the Carlo Castle. And then they were like, I don't understand, like, how did we pass it? And I like looked at them, and I was like, yeah, guys, we actually passed it. Like, I literally watched us drive past the castle. And so I showed them like how to like get back there, and they're like, what the? Okay, so this castle, I think it was because I put in the navigation, so I actually like seen the picture and stuff. This was not a fucking castle.
No?
This was a fucking wall. Look up the Carlo Castle if y'all ever get the chance. It is nothing, and I'll explain to you why it was nothing. I really don't know a lot of the history of it, but pretty much what had happened is it got passed down to, from like, obviously passed down, and when it got passed down to, I think this guy named Thomas or something, he tried to like reconstruct the castle to be more like in their day modern, and just fucked it up.
So they just like left it destroyed.
Yeah, and now it's like this huge landmark.
Why?
I don't
like,
know.
What is their family significance to make it a landmark?
Because it's like one of like the oldest castles. And like
fucking Thomas destroyed it.
I don't know if his name was Thomas.
What a
I don't
piece
want
of
to
shit, Thomas.
He destroyed it, and then it was just an embarrassment, but like they made a landmark out of it, so like good for them. So that was that. I think after that we went into like the actual town of Kilkenny, and
you bastards.
Stop saying that. We went into the town, and we parked the car, and then we started like walking around, and one of our friends had said that he had seen this bar that seemed pretty cool, and it was called Kettler's. So where's my phone? Because this is where it gets cool. So we were at Kettler's, and I found my twin.
Twinkies. If you guys remember, several episodes ago we put a challenge out there that nobody took up to find.
Don't worry, y'all. I found my own twin.
Is it wrong that we don't really have viewership yet because we're super early on in our streams and our podcasts and stuff, and I still like slam the community for not taking up our call to action?
It's fine. We're all fine.
I don't feel bad about it.
No. Everyone get our names out there so we can be famous.
Yeah. We issued a challenge, a call to action, if you will, to find Kendall a doppelganger, because I have so many, and she says none. But it turns out she has several now, just from one trip to Ireland.
I'm Irish as fuck.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so at Kettler's Inn, my experience there was fucking awesome. So I go there, sit down, get a Guinness, and this cute little Irish man sits next to me, and he's just chatting away, and he's just loud and obnoxious. He's like the angry hillbilly and the like in Morris. Like, he's just so cute. Just kind of, he's not keeping to himself, but he's keeping to himself, and I'll explain to you what happened later. So John looks at one of the bartenders. He said, she looks like you. I mean, we didn't really like, it wasn't like doppelganger look familiar. It was definitely the eyes and maybe the nose. Maybe. She was definitely like a lot more blonde than me and had a lot more finer hair than I did, but it was close enough for me. I kept looking at her because I was like, I want a picture of her, or I want a picture with her, because I
Weird.
wanted to like show you guys.
It's really creepy.
But she took that as super creepy, and I don't blame her. And
Well, when
her
you
shift
say
ended.
you want a picture of her to show these guys,
Yeah.
she doesn't understand that.
Yeah.
She doesn't know the conversation that we had before.
I'm a pretty weird person. I would explain that to her. I would totally like go off on a tangent about it, and she'd probably be cool with it.
I think it would be a little bit different if like we were a little bit bigger, and then you could actually like show her the podcast and be like, this is, you know, what we have going on over here.
That's
And
fine.
it was funny that, you know, doppelgangers, and you could probably be like, some of these people here say that we look alike, and she'd be like, no.
Anyway,
Where was this at again?
Kettler's. This was Kettler's Inn. This is one of the oldest bars. It's actually considered like, it's not even a bar. It's inn, whatever. So they have like really good food. And it's good stuff. So Kettler's Inn. My first experience there was like we were there for like 15 minutes, and one of the bar actually looked like really pretty. Like all of like the glasses and like the wine glasses and everything were like displayed like in perfect little holders, and the bottles looked perfect. And then we were all just sitting there like talking, and out of nowhere, like the bartender was like on the opposite side of the bar. Nobody was like right in front of me, but like right in front of me, a wine glass flipped off of its like holder and just shattered on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh fuck yeah. So I googled it, and this place is fucking haunted.
Here we go.
I love it so much. So my friend Brandon looks at him and he says, it's the witches. And the guy says, that's what they say around here. And I guess Brandon had looked some stuff up before we had actually gone in. So I didn't know what the heck was going on. So I'm going to go off on a little tangent about Kettler's Inn because I'm into the paranormal and stuff. So, Damn Alice Kettler was a very powerful woman in the 14th century. I'm reading this off of, how do you say that website at the top?
Fuck, I don't know.
Say it in an Irish accent too when you say it.
I don't know how to say it in English accent.
I know, it's really hard.
Atlas Obscura. Oh, that's what it is. Fucking retarded. Atlas Obscura.
Cool. Okay.
Atlas being a map, Obscura being like weird, obscure.
Oh, okay. So Alice was a
think.
very powerful woman in the 14th century. With that power came both devotion and bitter jealousy, leading her to the first witch trial in all of Ireland.
Oh no.
So, born into a wealthy Norman family, Alice continued to amass her fortunes, and with 4 marriages, so she got married 4 times. I think her 4th husband, yes, when her last husband fell ill, she died, and his family feared destitution and began spreading rumors that Alice had used sorcery and poison against him. So she was the first woman accused of, I think it's called incubus, which is pretty much witchcraft. In other words, demon lover.
Ooh.
Isn't that cool? The case was brought to a bishop of Ossory in 1324. So this, I need to go back and when this inn had first started, because I think it was around like 1324 as well. But before he could convict her, Alice's wealthy and loyal friends imprisoned him for 16 days in a misguided attempt to dissuade him for prosecuting her. So because of his imprisonment, she was convicted. So he pretty much like went off a rampage. He was like, I'm gonna make sure this woman dies because she put me into prison for 16 days. So later on, she was convicted and sentenced to execution, making her the first witch in Ireland. Many of her servants and supported were convicted with her. Pretty much moral of the story is that she escaped, and she escaped because her like handmaid had helped her escape. But her handmaid was the first woman burned at the stake for helping her escape in Ireland, which is super fucked up. So like because of that, this place is haunted, which is super cool. Like, she made history. Go Alice. Anyway.
Next day.
Oh, anyway, so we went out. I had my first mojito. It was bomb. Mojito. I hung out with the bachelorette party. That was bomb. And then day 2, we headed towards Cork. So we went to the Kilkenny Castle, which was... God damn it. Stop it. We went to the castle.
Yeah.
And, I mean, that was pretty cool. There was a lot of history that I didn't really take in, but it was a big castle, and there was a lot of like just more like art stuff, more like paintings and some cool displays. The one thing about this castle that kind of ticked me off was nothing was original in it. The original castle had everything in it had been auctioned off, and then later on it was sold to the people. It wasn't sold. I think it was given. Someone had bought it for like $50 or something, and then they like completely redid it. And I didn't find that out until after the tour, and I was like, oh, that's kind of lame, because nothing in this whole thing was original except for just like the castle. But they had to like redo the walls, redo the wallpaper. Like none of the paintings or anything in it was original, so that was a bummer. And I don't know why that bummed me out, because it was still,
that bummed you out either.
it was still really cool, but like I don't know, something about like original things, like it's just awesome to me. But it was still a castle.
Right.
Anyway, after that we went to Blarney Castle, which was cool. So Blarney Castle, it wasn't anything like Kilkenny Castle, because it's like there wasn't actual like rooms. It was everything was stone, everything. Though it was just so cold the whole time. And I don't know, I didn't get like the whole thing with like the Blarney Stone. So Blarney Stone, people go to this castle to go kiss the Blarney Stone. Why? I thought it was a good luck thing. I didn't really understand until after I kissed the stone, and I was like, oh, okay, that's pretty cool. Anyway, so the whole thing is to get through the whole entire castle to kiss this stone, which I didn't think was an actual challenge until I went through the castle. And holy crap, there's so many stairs, there's so many like loops, it's really high. Set my anxiety through the roof, and I'm out of shape. So we went up there, kissed the castle, found out later. So the reason why you kiss the Blarney Stone Castle is to be better at speech, which is super cool. So let me know if y'all think that my speech is better after kissing the Blarney Stone.
Like physically?
No, it's like you're supposed to be better at storytelling. And I'm a really bad storyteller. That's something that me and Matt talk about often. I'm really bad at telling stories. So let me know if you guys think my storytelling has gotten any better. Anyway, that's all I wrote on my notes.
Oh, that's all you got?
Yeah.
Well, you were there for like 5 or 6 days, and you wrote down 2 days worth of stories?
No, I got the rest of my pictures. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because those were just kind of like notes.
So
So my profile picture right now is me
ahead.
at Blarney Stone Castle at the top of it, just right across. I also have like on my Instagram like me kissing Blarney Stone, And when you kiss Blarney Stone, it's scary as fuck because you have to lay on your back, and then when you lay on your back, you have to like reach back and kiss the stone, which is fine because there is like a pretty big gap, but in between like the ground, like where you lay down and the stone, and in between the gap is just like emptiness, except for they put safety bars there for people who had fallen through. In like the early 1800s, people would obviously go there to kiss the stone, and people would fall through. So it was kind of like a risky thing, like were you gonna make it, were you gonna fall through and die, or were you gonna
be better at speech?
To be better at telling stories.
Huh.
Yeah. But and everyone was like, I don't get what the big deal. Like, you have a guy there who makes sure that you don't fall. But something about it, like, I looked down and my skinny ass could easily fall through those stuff, like fall through the bars that were like still there as like support. I would have died still if that guy was in there. Because I was scared. I was super scared. So, what were you about to say?
I was going to ask you if you wanted to make a Beards and Blush Instagram.
Yeah.
So what I was going to say about that, I pretty much have, I've created all of our social medias for the podcast in the, with the understanding that we could both run them, but I've pretty much ran all of it. But I was going to give you like solemn control of the Instagram. Like, yeah, that is your thing.
I'm pretty good at Instagram.
Because I don't even run my own Instagram.
Yeah, I'm really good at Instagram.
So you can post all that crazy shit on there. Mm-hmm. Like I said, this being like the last episode of our little opening pilot season, we'll step up all of that stuff, and we'll probably post more frequently and open up an Instagram, and you can share all of your pictures from your vacation on there. We can do that this weekend.
I'm about it. I love Instagram. Instagram's my favorite social media.
Is it?
Yeah. So, the next day is kind of like where I'm going to kind of just like kind of hop on through this. So we went to Muckross, which was like where like this national park was. We went there specifically for, what town was that in? Let me figure
Kilkenny?
out. Nope, Killarney. Okay, so let me explain y'all about Killarney. So we got to Killarney a little bit early. We got there around noon. So we went to our hostel where we went to go check in. And we tried checking in. They told us that we couldn't check in till 3, a little bit earlier than 3. So we went to the National State Park where like it was pretty much Muckross, where they had like another castle, and they had like a waterfall that we'd seen that I have pictures of, and like just some pretty cool stuff. And there was like a lot of hiking, and there was a horse carriage ride that was involved, and I was totally about it. So that was pretty cool. But let me get into my Killarney thing. So we do the whole, horse carriage ride thing, which was fun. And just like the whole experience was really fun. Just don't really want to get into it because I want to tell this story specifically. Mm-hmm. So we get back to the hostel, we check in. So we have a 6-bed hostel, and I don't know if you guys know how hostels work. Hotels, you rent a room, and hostels, you rent a bed. So we had 5 people in our group, and we had, in a bedroom, we had 6 beds. And we said, what the fuck are the chances of somebody renting out this bed? None. Who's going to walk into a hostel by themselves and rent out a bed? Someone walked into a hostel by themselves 15 minutes after us and rented out a bed. So we were laying in our beds, just talking, bullshitting, and then we hear someone just trying to unlock the door. And I was like, guys, someone's coming. So we all just be quiet. We just lay in our beds. And this chick comes in, and she's super loud, super obnoxious, just kind of comes off like she's a little drunk, whatever. And she lays down and she's, are you guys planning on going out tonight and stuff? And we were like, yeah, we plan on going out tonight. She's like, okay, don't worry about, when you come in, waking me up. Like, I'm totally fine with you guys. Like, I understand if you guys are loud. And we're like, okay, that's pretty cool. And then she's like, yeah, like, I plan on going out myself tonight. I want to, I have 7 kids. So I'm just kind of escaping from them from the weekend. And that's when we were all like, sad. Like, as a mom with 7 kids, I don't know. I just couldn't explain, like, every mom that I know is just super, like, you're just super protective of their kids. Just don't even like spending 3 hours away from their kids, let alone a whole weekend. But she was like ready to party. So then she keeps asking me if I've ever seen Nanny McPhee. She keeps asking the whole room if they've ever seen Nanny McPhee. And all of them say no, except for my dumb ass that says yes. And so how the beds work is there's a bunk bed right here. And then there's another bunk bed right here. And then there's a bunk bed right here. Well, I took the bunk bed right here where I was on the top bunk. And then she was on the bottom bunk. And while she's talking, she's only been in the room for 5 minutes, and I could fucking smell her. She smelled so bad, just reeked of BO. And there wasn't a lot of air circulation in our rooms. We just pretty much had to open up the windows because it was a really cheap hostel. And anyways, so I said, I've seen Nanny McPhee. And she goes, none of y'all seen Nanny McPhee? I said, I've seen Nanny McPhee. Oh, well, who's seen Nanny McPhee? I said, I see Nanny McPhee. And I kind of lean over and she's still like disregarding me. So I just like, I'm ready to get out of this place. So we leave like 10 minutes later. We come back like hours later. Like we came back at like 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. And it was me, Lexi, and Connor walk into the room. And Connor walks in and instantly says, my pillow is missing. And I was like, oh, okay. And Lexi goes, she's kind of like, wait, what? Your pillow's missing? And she looks at her bed and her pillow's missing. And I get out of the situation and I just grab my suitcase and go to get changed because I didn't want to spend too much time in the bedroom like getting ready for bed because I knew she was sleeping and I knew everyone else was just gonna pop into bed and go to sleep, but I can't do that. I have to like take off my makeup and put on PJs and stuff like that. And so as I was walking out, I kind of seen like in the light that her eyes were open and she was like trying to talk but she couldn't, so I just kind of like got out of there. But on my way out I noticed that there was like mud on the ground and it was like I was like, oh, okay, I'm just gonna kind of like wheel around this, like someone just dragged some mud in through here, whatever. So I go into the bedroom or I go into the bathroom and I'm taking off my makeup and I'm trying to get changed and stuff, and Lexi comes in and her eyes are bloodshot and she goes, I'm about to deck this bitch. And I said, what the fuck? And I was like, what's going on? And she goes, and she's just like, if she moves an inch, I'm just going to deck her in the face. She stole our pillow. She stole our pillows. And I was like, Lexi's screaming through the whole floor. And eventually, like, I did not want to take reins of the situation, so I just kind of stayed back. But pretty much what had happened was there was those mud piles that I had seen that were actually puke tracks. So throughout the hallway leading into the bathroom and the shower was puke tracks that were piles of just like kind of clear puke with like black stuff in it, and it just looked like it looked like mud to me at the time, but it was disgusting. So it was going from our room to the shower and into the bathroom, and it was Super gross.
Mm-hmm.
So we complained and we told the guys or the guy downstairs. He didn't know what to do, and it ended up being okay. He did an awesome job, even though he didn't know what to do, and he put us in another room. The next morning, we were checking out, and they had straight up told us that they charged our card $300 for the inconvenience. But this woman was not drunk. She was totally on drugs. Like, I don't know if it was heroin or what the heck was going on. I don't know my drugs that well, but it was some hard shit. She was pretty messed up. She was laying in bed, like, trying to respond to us. She couldn't respond to us. Had puked all over the place. It was a mess. So that was my thing about Killarney, which was like
Fucking Killarney.
Freaking Killarney. Killarney was beautiful until the hostel.
Yeah.
I just wanted to leave and go to
A
a
hotel.
hotel really bad.
Yeah.
It was gross.
So, like, how close to the end of your trip was that?
it was pretty
like,
close.
how much more do you have left?
I don't
of that?
have much more.
Was that like 2 days before you came home? Like the day before, 2 days before?
That was like one of the most dramatic things of the trip.
Right.
After that, the next day we went to the cliffs.
Uh-huh. The cliffs were a good time.
Yeah, the cliffs
Tons of pictures of the cliffs.
Love the cliffs. Then after the cliffs, we went back to Dublin. And then we went to the Guinness factory, which I do want to tell, not the Guinness factory, the Guinness brewery. Do want to go off of one little thing about the Guinness brewery. So fun thing, Arthur Guinness, who had started, Guinness, which is one of my favorite beers. Him and his wife Olivia, they had. So I guess the percent they had kids, but the thing is when you had kids, the percent rate of kids surviving to being adults was only 50%. So Olivia, being the amazing, awesome, super strong woman that she is, had 21 kids.
Okay.
Could you imagine having 21 kids as a man? As what?
I mean, I could imagine, like, having kids, not, like, raising them.
Hell no. Hell no.
I could have sex 21 times, no problem.
That's not what I'm saying.
I know.
Could you imagine me having to go through me
I don't think you
being
physically
pregnant
could.
21 times? Okay, if I could.
No, you couldn't handle that. You couldn't mentally handle that.
But, like, if I could. 21 times.
I don't think that you should, like, I don't know what the word I'm trying to think of is. I don't know. Like, you're crediting her for having 21 kids, and it's like, I mean, it's kind of psychotic.
I'm just mind blown. Guess how many survived?
All of them?
No.
19?
No.
10. 1.
No. 50%.
10.
21. 11. No.
Yeah, well,
yeah, that's
I mean, you can't
awkward.
really have
So
50% of 21.
Okay, so 11
Okay.
survived. 11 survived.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, why wouldn't you play the odds? Why would you have 21 kids knowing that they have a 50% chance of survival? Like, every individual kid has a 50% chance of survival. That one family could take up the entire 50% chance that survived. You could have 21 living kids. Just because 50% of kids dies doesn't mean every single or half your kids are going to die. You could be 21 strong kids and 20 other families around you have a kid that fucking die.
You just took it to a whole nother level.
It's just stupid to have 21 kids because you think half of them are going to die.
But, like, what if you have, like, 2 kids and both of them die?
Well, why would you have 21? Like, I can't even... Why would you want to have 10 kids?
Right. Like, 10 kids. Like, 5 kids. 5 kids is a lot of fucking kids.
5 kids is too many. You get 3.
Right.
You get 3 kids. As a standard family, you get 3. You hope for a boy and a girl, and then you got that one random one that's a fuck up. Hopefully you got 2 good kids and 1 fucking idiot. I haven't said fucking idiot all stream, so I had to get that out there. Even 3 is too many. There should be some kind of tax write-off for just having 1 kid.
You're so stupid.
We'll allow you 3. Preferably, we don't want more than 2. But if you just have 1 or 0, we're going to give you some money back. That was a subject that I left off my list for the solo podcast.
I'm sorry.
Was
kids?
The overpopulation of the world.
Well, if it would have been whatever year freaking Olivia and Arthur decided to screw hundreds of times. Could you imagine just how many... She had to have been fertile as fuck.
Yeah.
Just like every time that she had sex, just like popping out a baby.
Yeah.
That's bonkers.
We'll save the overpopulation for another stream.
Okay.
For sure.
Anyways, we'll just get into my flight on the way home. You ready for this?
Sure.
Buckle in, mother truckers.
Motherfuckers. I'll say it for you.
Thank you.
I ain't no bitch.
Mama didn't run no bitch. So my flight is earlier than the rest of my friends. I leave at 8 o'clock in the morning. They leave at like 1 o'clock in the afternoon or something. And I don't know. I get to my flight a couple hours early. I wake up at like 4 o'clock in the morning. I decided to leave at 4:30 because I couldn't go back to sleep and I had to be up at 5 anyways.
Yeah.
So I just head to the airport, catch an Uber, catch a taxi.
Tax me?
My Taxi is what it's called. I don't know why I said tax me. It's called a My Taxi. And I go to the airport, and before I get to the airport, the night before I got a tattoo.
Are you gonna show?
No, I can't.
Why?
Because it's an awkward. It'll show my whole back. I have a long sleeve shirt on. I can't pull it up that far.
You don't have anything on underneath that?
No, I'm
All
naked
right,
underneath
that's
there.
All right. We'll post a tattoo picture on the new Instagram that will be coming out.
Yeah. So I got a tattoo. It's a castle because I've seen a lot of castles. I've seen a lot of castles in Ireland, so I figured that was a good memento for I stole your word.
Yeah.
It was a good memento for the trip. Yeah. Anyway, so Flight home. Sorry guys, this is a long one. My flight home is early. My gate changes, so I have to go from the first floor down to the second floor, which screwed me up because I didn't get a notification for it until 10 minutes before I was supposed to board. And I was like, why is nobody here? And I guess they tell you like over the intercom. I wasn't listening to the intercom. I was looking at my phone. And I didn't. So my flight, it wasn't going straight home this time. So my flight to Ireland was straight from Chicago to Ireland. Now I'm going from Ireland to London, London to Chicago. My flight to London was like an hour and a half, which was awesome.
Yeah.
I did fall asleep on it.
On the 1 hour flight?
Yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah. I was comfy on that flight.
Well, you also got short sleep.
Yeah, I got like no sleep that night.
Yeah.
And on the way from London to Chicago. Anyway, so I get to London. I have 20 minutes before before I have to board my flight, and I have to go back through security. And security in London, I had no idea would have been hell. It's just hell. It's just the perfect way to describe it. So all I had was my carry-ons. I go through security. They like pull me aside and they tell me to go through this little thing where I have to like hold my arms up. And this is after I've already gone through the like metal detector thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then so I have to hold my arms up and this thing scans me, and then I have to go out of this thing. And like not everybody has to do this, but for some reason I have to do this every single time I go to an airport.
Really?
I don't know. Yes, every time. And what they do is like when you go through the metal detector, they'll tell you to go aside if you have to go, if you're like the random selected. So apparently I'm suspicious as fuck because I'm always randomly selected.
Yeah, and you also always have state troopers follow you around in your inconspicuous Buick.
Oh my God. All the time. Anyways, so I go through this thing, and then and then I have to go through this thing. Like once I go can't describe this part. It's so hard because I don't understand it. So I go through the metal detector. They tell me to go aside, so I have to go through this bigger machine that's bigger than a metal detector. Then I have to have my hands apart, then my arms up, and then I have to go through that. And then this woman or this man pats me down and like scans me and shit, and then checks all my shoes, and it's just really uncomfortable because they make me pull up my shirt, and I'm just like, no, I just don't like that.
Impromptu body search.
It's fine. So, and of course, some of my luggage had gotten taken aside because they have to extra inspect some, like just my book bag, not my actual like purse. And I was like, what the fuck is going on here? So I have to wait another like 5 minutes to get my book bag, even though I already have my purse. And so I grab all that, and I'm like trying to go through the whole airport. I have to get on some train thing to go through another terminal and get to the other terminal, and I'm like, I'm hungry and I want to get Starbucks, but my plane is boarding right now. And I didn't have time to stop and get anything to eat.
Yeah.
So I get to my gate, and I'm like, I'm finally here. And so what you do is like when you go to a gate, they'll have like different groups. So there's group like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 normally.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like group 4, so I was going to be a little bit later than group 1, 2, and 3. So I went to go into the gate. Then once you get into the gate, that's when you go off in your separate groups. And it's a burp. Anyways. So I hadn't even got into the gate yet, and this guy stops me, and he goes, passport. And I was like,
what, bitch?
You check this when I go onto the plane? And I was just like, okay. So I like open up my passport, and like he looks at my boarding pass, and he was like, you're coming with me. And I was like, what the fuck? And I was like,
you come with me.
You come with me. And he was like, you've been randomly selected. Well, no, first he goes, are you traveling alone? And I said, yes. And he goes, you've been randomly selected for, what did I call it? Security screening?
Mm-hmm.
You've been randomly selected for security screening, which is something that the United States government has random people do, even though I just had to go through hell and back in fucking security. So they take me to like 5 different people. I have to stop at these 5 different people and have like a 1-sentence conversation with all of these people. And then other people like are getting onto like the little thing to get on the plane. I have to go downstairs, and then like they had me put my bags on this table. They had me take out my phone and my iPad.
Was there a room with a black couch in it anywhere?
I'm sure there was a black couch somewhere. I was just so fucking heated. I was so pissed.
Go on.
Anyway, so I put my stuff down and they had me open up all my bags. They couldn't touch any of my bags, by the way, even though they had gloves on and stuff. So they had me open up all of the zippers to my bag, and they just start swabbing everything. So they swab me, they swab underneath my stomach, they swab my hands, they swab like the inside of my bag, my phone. They had me take off my cases on my phone and my iPad and swabbed everything. All for fucking nothing to show up. Like, I was scared that someone had fucking tried to smuggle something into me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because that could easily happen.
And that's what I told you. Like, that's why I was like, when I brought up the subject of what would you do if I ever got locked up, and you're like, what for? Like, shit fucking happens.
Stupid shit.
Yeah.
Stupid shit. So, that was the London airport. Let me just drink that.
Fucking London.
It doesn't stop there.
I didn't think it would.
No, I'm still at London airport. Call my mom, because that's my first reaction, is to call my mom and tell my mom what happened, because I'm heated. And
yeah, don't call me. It's fine.
It was like
call your mom.
It was like 5.
She cares.
It was 5:30 or 6 o'clock in the morning here.
Yeah, that
So,
means I should have been getting up for work, right?
It was your day off.
Oh yeah, you're right. Don't fucking call me.
Yeah, don't fucking call you. You're already picking me up.
I mean,
from
if
the
it was something
airport.
serious, I would answer the phone.
It wasn't anything serious, though.
If I saw you calling me, I'd be like, oh shit, I need to answer this.
It was just me ranting. That's
Yeah.
all it was. And so my mom's like, my mom just went off of her own tangent, like, yeah, that's what London gets, you know. Of course, they have to take extra precautions and stuff. And I was just like, I don't know what's going on.
I don't know why I called you.
I don't know politics or anything. Like, I'm a bounce. And then when I was on the phone with her is when I realized that I have no way of telling you which terminal I'm going to be at. I have no idea which airline I'm flying with right now. I don't know what the hell's going on. And I was like, Mom, I gotta go. And I like hang up and I like trying to figure out as much like as I can. And that's when I texted you and I was like, I don't know where I'm going to be. I don't know which flight I'm going to be on. Like,
You told me British Airways.
Okay, because I didn't know I was on British Airways for like the first 5 minutes. And then I was like, they went over the intercom and said, thank you for flying with British Airways. And I was like, cool.
Cool. I think that's Terminal 5.
I think.
And you know what? When you landed, I asked you, and you never gave me another answer. And I was like, well, I'm going to Terminal 5.
And it was Terminal 5.
Yeah, it was Terminal 5. You're
okay,
right.
Perfect. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, so get on there, and I'm at another window seat. Awesome. Love window seats. And then I have a seat next to me and then another seat in the aisle. Well, this Greek woman ended up sitting in the aisle seat and there was nobody in between us. And me and this woman had to have been like in her 60s. And we like looked at each other and she's like, nobody's sitting here. And I was like, and she was like, so much room.
So much room.
It was so cute. And it was funny because her husband was in the other aisle seat and he had 2 seats next to him with another woman in the aisle seat. And like him and this woman were just like sprawled out. And it was just like, it was a good flight for them. But for me, I had a woman in front of me, which is like... So I had heard somebody say this like on the radio or something like that. Like when you are on a flight, the one thing that you do not do is lean your seat back. And I was like, I didn't even know you could lean your seat back on a flight. Like, I don't even know how to lean your seat back on a flight. And I was like, I don't think that's a thing. I think they're lying.
Mm-hmm.
Until this bitch in front of me leaned her fucking seat back. And I kicked the shit
out of
her
this woman.
Because my knees...
Oh, no, the seat.
Seat. My knees were constantly hitting the back. And I'm not even going to try to be subtle about this because I'm fucking pissed. And this woman was fucking pissed that I was kicking her seat. But she leaned her seat back. Like, we're all sitting at 90-degree angles right now. Like, you can too. Like, be fucking courteous. Everybody else was sitting perfectly right except for this woman. And I had no leg room. And this is a 9-hour flight? It felt like a 20-hour flight. It was forever, and I couldn't go to sleep or anything.
You po thing.
So, that was the whole thing about... Did we say airlines?
The Ring of Hell.
Yeah. It was...
Airways or
airways.
airports?
Airplanes.
Airplanes and airports.
Airplanes and airports. So, do not, when you are on a flight, ever lean your seat back. Ever.
Don't lean your seat back, or Kendall will kick your ass.
It's just...
Or at least your seat's ass.
It's just what you do. You do not lean your seat back. It is so rude. It is so obnoxious. I don't care who you are. Don't do it. That's it. That's all, folks.
All right.
Going into the U.S. was pretty easy. There was just like, I had to get my picture taken. It's fine. I watched some airport security yell at a Muslim family. That was cool. It was actually really uncomfortable. Like, yeah. I was like, I don't know what to do. Try being 6'3" and have someone lean. Did that happen to you on one of those flights? Because you should have punched the back of their head.
So I told the story about dropping Kendall off at the airport last week. It was a very... I don't even know how to describe the story.
It was such a good story. Just go back to the last episode.
Yeah, definitely watch episode 7.
It was so good.
The drive home was so smooth.
Good.
It was so smooth.
Except for Kendall
being a front seat, a back seat, a top of the hood, a trunk driver. She literally dissected. Did you drink that entire bottle tonight? Jesus Christ. You're not in Ireland anymore, honey.
I can drink like 2 bottles of wine.
Just fucking with you. Even the on-ramp and the multiple stoplights that I got stopped at, all of it was perfectly clear. There was hardly any traffic. Everything was good to go. The only problem was Kendall was hangry the whole drive home, but hungry. I brought the dog, so.
Oh, can you look up flight attendant in there?
I can see.
So my flight home, I had a lot of male flight attendants actually, which is like something I'd never seen before, but I had terrible food. I had literally like 3 little glasses of water the entire time. I was so thirsty.
There's a whole section on it.
Go off about flight attendants.
So I haven't read this one yet, but we have a sarcastic definition of flight attendant. A person who speaks unintelligibly into a distorted PA system in between opening cans of Coke and sitting through that galling video of the safety demonstration, which used to be performed live, complete with the seatbelt clicking into place and the oxygen masks and blowing into the life preserver tubes and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I really butchered that because I didn't pre-read it. The other ones I pre-read before, so I knew how to tell them. But yeah, that was awkward to say.
Do you want to say it again?
No, not really.
Okay.
It was just like that whole definition was like one sentence. I wasn't expecting that.
It's fine.
15 commas in that fucking sentence.
It's fine. So, I did just remember that I forgot to tell one little awesome detail.
Hell.
It's just a little thing. Okay, so my first day, we were in Kilkenny.
Bastard.
Is it Kilkenny? It's in Kilkenny. So we went to we stayed in an Airbnb, and I don't even remember these people's names, but the guys did. The guys fell in love with there was a couple that we stayed with, and the man of the couple of the household, he was a good person, like genuinely just an awesome person. Like he took us out on our first night, like he drove us out on our first night when he didn't have to do that at all. And they actually had like a goose farm where they like raised geese and then like kill them on the farm, and like they distribute the meat throughout Kilkenny and other places in Ireland, which is awesome. Anyway, so my first thing was I went there and I heard a dog. And I love me some doggos. So we get there and we're talking or whatever, and like 20 minutes later, John goes, "So you got a dog?" Because I wasn't going to say it because I'm just not that ballsy. And so they bring the dog in and they're like, "Yeah, its name's Bruce." Oh, that's such a cute dog's name. Like, nobody ever names their dog Bruce. And they're like, "Yeah, like, you know, we named her Bruce," and then realized, like, 3 days later that she was a girl. And we were just like,
Sorry, when I say, they're like, "Oh, what's your dog's name?" It's Tula. What?
Yeah.
Tula. I mean, it's a cute name regardless of the country of origin.
Yeah.
But people are like, "Tula," and I'm like, she's a Mexican dog. Because we adopted Tula, and I thought that was a stupid fucking name when we got the dog too.
I couldn't change her name.
Right. She already responded to it, so we just kept Tula. I don't know what we would have even changed it to.
I've done that with all of my dogs. Like my dog Q, when we had gotten the dog, they had told us like, yeah, her name's Q, spelled Quue. I'm pretty sure I've told this story. Spelled Quue, which totally spells K.
Right.
I'm stupid, but I'm not that stupid. So I was like, I mean, I've never taken a Spanish class before, but like that's not right.
Okay.
So.
Oh, was that the end of that story?
Yeah, that's the end of my story.
Okay. So we're gonna pause that real quick.
Okay.
Start wrapping this up. I just wanted to run a couple of things by the stream here, and hopefully somebody will respond on anything, comments, Twitter, live chat, whatever. I've said this several times. We're going to start picking up production quality here coming shortly. So we've been talking, Kendall and I have been talking about having like live streams in between podcasts. Not necessarily like this, not talking point podcasts, no audio recording for iTunes or Spotify or any of that stuff, but just having like I don't know, we could find stuff to do. We can even do like incentivized streams. Like I said, with our 50 follower goal on Twitch, when we hit that, we're going to do the role swapping stream.
You want to do some role play?
Yeah, where, I mean, kind of. You're going to play me and I'm going to play you.
Oh, I wasn't thinking.
She's going to get a beard and I'm going to take the makeup and we're going to pretend to be each other for a stream. Stuff like that. But instead of doing a podcast with it, we would just do like a Wednesday stream or something in between. And also we need to talk about how your schedule is changing with your new job. Which we can talk about your new job once you get a little bit further into it. But Kendall started her new job today and found out her schedule is going to be changing a little bit. So currently we try to do Mondays and Fridays, but I think we're going to have to change it up to, I don't know yet.
Possibly
Sunday, Thursday.
It's possibly Sunday, Thursday. That's ideal.
Yeah, we like Sunday, Thursday. So it's still going to be beginning of the week and end of the week to most people. Where Friday night you get a lot of people that have lives and shit to do, whereas Thursdays maybe more people could tune in.
Yeah.
Hopefully. So there's that. I was also thinking about doing occasional like video editing streams in between, like on Wednesdays and stuff, where I could just get on here and we could just, if you wanted to be here, go over some of the previous ones and make clips and stuff like that. We could go over our previous casts and make highlights and stuff, and we could just stream it live, and that could be a thing.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll talk about that. We'll figure something out.
Can I pee real quick?
We're going to wrap it up right now.
Oh, okay.
That's all I really have. So that is going to be all the time that we have for this podcast. This one ran a little bit longer than any of the other ones.
I'm sorry, you guys. I ran off a rampage on my story, but it was a long 6 days.
Yeah.
That was all me.
You had a lot to talk about there.
I did have a lot to talk about, and I'm really sorry.
That's fine. I kept my talking points to a minimum because I knew that you were going to have a lot of stories to tell. So it's fine. I just figured it would be more like an interview, but instead you just told a big story.
You fell asleep.
Yeah, you're right. I took a nap before this, and I feel great.
Good.
It was definitely... I felt like shit when she woke me up, and she's like, you have 15 minutes till we have to go live. And I'm like, But
I was
once
trying
I got
to be
up,
sweet about it. I
know.
was like, come on, let's go.
Yeah, that's good. I'm starting to sweat. It's hot. All right. We're going to get out of here. Again, iTunes and Spotify, Beards and Blush, YouTube and Twitch at Beards and Blush. We have a follower challenge out right now for Twitch. 50 followers, we get a partnership with Twitch. Affiliate partnership, not a full partnership, but it is what it is. And we'll do a role swapping stream where I wear the makeup and she wears the beard and she takes over the stream, and it's going to be a good time. So twitch.tv/beards and blush. Go give us a follow. You don't have to watch it there. Just follow the stream. And yeah, so what is today? Friday? Are you planning on, you said we can't do Monday, right?
No, we can't do Monday.
All right. So we're going to, fuck.
Tuesday.
Are we going to do Tuesday?
We have to Tuesday.
Okay. We'll do Tuesday. Tuesday is 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 6th. November 6th. Tuesday, November 6th will be the next podcast, the next stream. Catch us live on YouTube and Twitch. Love you.
Love you. Bye.